Rob here, back with week 4 of the MLP. We are going up against Pierce, I believe is how you say it, of the South Dairy Scissors. He's off to a good start this season, 2-1 plus 6. And he's got a team that I really like personally. Very bulky with some still good setup options. He didn't quite bring the team I anticipated, which I was happy about, but he's got some real threats on this team. So he's got a Charizard X, obviously a big threat. My team can offensively handle it pretty well, but we don't really switch into it too well outside of Sableye. I have a Porygon that can take the hits, but that's setup fodder if he runs any amount of bulk. And then I'm forced to run Roar, and if he's sub, I can't run Toxic, and so, yeah, it's really just Sableye that can take a hit and dish damage back to that thing. He's got a Tangrowth that he chose not to bring, Reuniclus, and a Slowking, so potentially triple regen, which is a huge thing to contend with. Luckily for me, his regen core is shredded by Heracross, just cleaning Megahorn. He's got Florges, Thunderous Tea, Nidoking, which I really don't have a switch into if he's packing the right coverage, and luckily he didn't bring. Boon Pheasant, which I didn't think would come. Ferroseed, which came, but I also didn't think would come. Sneasel, which I wasn't anticipating, and Primeape. So I was really building this team thinking he'd only bring 6 of Mega Charizard X, Tangrowth, Reuniclus, Slowking, Florges, Thundy-T, and Nidoking, with very slight potential for Ferroseed. But he brought most of it, he changed it up a little bit. He's got the Primeape here, which I didn't think would come simply because in the sand, it's getting knocked out by Excadrill. It can't touch Mega Sableye, so that's why I thought it wouldn't come. It can't really touch Celesteela that well once it's banded, so I didn't think it would come, but here it is, so no complaints. But for my team, I've got a Flame Orb Heracross with Close Combat, Megahorn, Facade, and Substitute. The reason I brought Substitute with the Flame Orb, which I don't like bringing it that way, but had to bring it, was because his only switch-in was the Ferroseed, and I thought it was the safest way to get big damage off with Heracross without having to predict. So, meaning, if I was in against Reuniclus or the Slowking or Tangrowth, and I thought he was going to switch up, but wasn't 100% sure, I could go for Substitute instead of staying in and clicking Megahorn or Facade. If I got the prediction wrong, then I lose my Heracross. It gave me a second chance at being correct. So it kind of reduced the risk on my prediction. So that's why I went with Substitute there. I've got a Smooth Rock Tyranitar. I believe it's got Ice Punch, Rock Slide, Crunch, and Stealth Rocks. I've got a mostly defensive Calm Mind Mega Sableye. I've got a Life Orb, Swords Dance, Poison Jab, Earthquake, Excadrill. I've got a Choice Scarf Celebi with Healing Wish to help out my Aron and my Excadrill and my Heracross. It's also got U-Turn for Momentum, Giga Drain, and Psychic. And then the star of the show is Aron, level 1. When I was looking at his team, I was really struggling with how do I break his core if Heracross gets knocked out? Like if he's got a sneaky set I wasn't expecting, he's Trick Room, I have to sack off. How am I going to get around this? And the answer was Aron. With Sand, I can knock out basically anything that's not the Ferroseed or the Reuniclus with Endeavor. Everything else drops. So it broke down his regen severely, and it really just handled everything well. So all I had to do was keep hazards off, and I have a great way to do that with Mega Sableye. I've got Spin on Drill, so that shouldn't be a problem. And from there, it's just going to be taking things down with this Aron. It needs to be in for free, though. Can't really switch on the hit, and then I have to hope for no secondary status moves from the Slowking. So my game plan going into this is, it looks like Heracross Rex's team as anticipated, but not as much as I would have thought it would have. It's going to really dent the Ferroseed Slowking, and if I can get the Facade off right on the Florges, that should be a 2-hit KO as well. And then from there, I see really no Sand answers. If I get a Swords Dance up or Rocks up, the Thunder, everything dies to 1 hit. So after I get SD up, so that's really it. I'm going to play recklessly with my main threats, Healing Wish with Celebi. That's kind of the game plan. I'm loving the matchup at Team Preview, so let's get into it. going to lead off here with Sableye as he leads off with the Pharaoh Seed. And I'm really just going to try and chip it down. I don't see what he's going to do. I thought he was going to go into the floor just there. But he goes for Curse. I'm thinking, what is going on here? So I'm going to Calm Mind just to try and threaten him into attacking me. But he's going to keep cursing, so I'm going to keep Calm Minding. I do a calc. Most he can do is 50% to me with the Iron Head at +6, so I'm thinking that's the worst that's going to happen. Then I'm just going to get going. He shows Rollout, which surprised me, so I'm going to just Shadow Ball, get the Spidef drop, which is unfortunate for him. But knock him out here. I really contemplated at this point when he was attacking me and I saw how little damage he was doing with the rollout. I was thinking, do I get greedy and go for +6 here and just try to win it? Because there's a real potential there, because the only thing that threatens me is Florges. As I recover and the rollouts reset, I can take out the Charizard and literally hit. But ultimately I decided, with my luck, what would happen is I'd set up and he'd crit me with the Florges. I didn't know at this point if it's offensive or defensive, so for whatever reason he's a Specs or offensive, speedy one, whatever. I didn't want to lose Sableye and then have Charizard be a huge threat. I didn't want to have to play the game hyper offensively when I had all the cards in my favor to not do that, and I could have just played defensively and more balanced. So he's going to get knocked out there. This is where I decided, nope, didn't need to get all the way set up. I'm going to switch out into T-Tar. I got a good amount of HP in this thing. I just want the Sand Up for Aron, and so I'm going to swap right back out into Celebi as he doubles into Primate, which really surprised me. So I see with the sand damage, I'm faster. No reason not to throw a Psychic off, because it's a free switch in otherwise. If he goes Slow King, knock it out. He goes in Charizard, not knowing I'm Scarfed yet, when he probably should have, and so he's going to DD as I Psychic, and then it's a speed tie here. I'm just going to risk it, and I win it. I was thinking there, I had Excadrill in the back, so why not? He goes into Slow King now. I go into the Heracross, expecting anything but a Psychic move. I get lucky and I get the ×2 resisted Signal Beam. And this is where I'm going to show off the substitute. Swaps into Florges, needing to keep the Slow King for my Excadrill. And now I'm going to 2-hit KO him here with the Facades. I knock him down pretty low. He breaks the sub, and I'm going to knock him out again here. He's got nothing to switch into this thing, so he had to let the Florges go down. He's going to protect for a little more chip damage on me. Not going to matter. I'm going to knock it out this turn. Again, he can't switch in anything. He needs the Slow King for my Excadrill. He needs the Fundy T for offensive pressure. So I'm going to switch out here into Celebi, just again trying to sack it off. I still want one more thing just for that Slow King, just in case. He's going to switch out now. As I U-turn, I'm going to go into Tyranitar. If it's not fully defensive, I'm going to knock it out here. But he's going to prove to be just that, fully defensive. I crunch. He Scalds. No burn. As he switches out now in here into Thundy, I again go for the crunch, do massive damage. I'm going to switch out here in Celebi, because the only way I really lose is if for whatever reason Sand runs out and he gets all set up, so I'm just going to switch out here. Preserve T-Tar for an emergency Sand for whatever reason I need it. And we're going to go into the star of the show here. I could have gone into Drill to pick up some kills for the MVP race, but I brought Aron for a reason. It could have came in way earlier if I wanted to. And I'm going to endeavor, not get burned, back up to full health. Sand's going to knock the Slow King out. In comes Thundy. It's going to go for Dark Pulse, showing it's probably locked in to that with Scarf. And I'm going to knock it down to 1. Sand again knocks it out. Fortunately, Aron's not going to get those kills. They're going to go to Tyranitar because the Sand's technically what knocked it out. But Aron did what it was supposed to do. It chunked down the core of some bulky things, and it brought it home. So that's going to be a 5-0 for us. Good game to Pierce. I thought he could have brought a little more different stuff. I thought that the Nidoking really should have came. If you look at the team that I brought, like a Life Orb, Modest, or Timid Nidoking, like I think it's a roll to knock out the Sableye I had, but everything else, it just puts in the work. I ran Addon on Heracross, so if he was timid, he's going to outspeed me. Yeah, I guess he was just scared of the sand and how that would interact. It may be a fully Spidef Vaporeon, I'm not sure. But I definitely would brought the Nidoking if I were him over probably the Primate. But good match to Pierce. He had a strong start to the season, so I expect him to keep going, and hopefully we'll face him again in playoffs. So that was week 4. We'll have week 5 and be more regular with these uploads now. I'm finally getting caught up on everything, so you can expect better commentary as the battles are fresh in my mind going forward. But yeah, that was week 4. Week 5, I believe we play Ben of the Indy Scythers, and I'm struggling with that build, so it should be a close match if he brings what I think he could possibly bring. So until next time, thanks.